رمضان 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 كريم
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Dear brothers and sisters, today's topic is about disobediences of the heart. We had talked about obediences of the heart. So just like there are obediences for the heart, like faith, like loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like thinking that Allah only does what's good for you, ihsan al-dhan billah, like at-tawakkul ala Allah, depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are all great obediences of the heart. And they are so important that whereby this is the measurement at the end of the day and the benchmark how to move forward towards paradise or hell. We ask Allah's refuge against hell, and may Allah Azza wa Jal take us all to paradise. Now, what are some of the disobediences of the heart? Obviously, the first one and the most important one and the most dangerous one is shirk, putting a companion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart. And Allah despises that. Allah doesn't want that. Allah is the one subhanahu wa ta'ala who created us from nothing. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من دهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. Once upon a time, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, where were you? You were nothing. Allah made you. How come you come into this? How can you come into this world and say, no, it's not you, Allah Azza wa Jal? There's great injustice in that. إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. Putting a companion with Allah Azza wa Jal is great injustice. The opposite of it is having faith. Another disobedience of the heart, which is similar to putting a companion with him, but Prophet Muhammad ﷺ called it the smaller shirk, shirk al-asghar, which is show off, al-riya. That is so dangerous when you have it in your heart, because it makes your work void. If you pray and you want to show off with your recitation, or show off that you pray, or when you give charity in front of people and you want to show them that you are generous, or when even you're a Sharia student or you're a scholar and you teach people, so that they would say, oh, he's got lots of knowledge, what a scholar. It comes to you. You have to fight it and push it away. I'm doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that he fears this for his nation. The small kind of putting a companion with Allah, small shirk, al-riya. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ once mentioned that putting a companion with Allah, shirk, is more subtle than the crawl of an ant. Can you hear an ant crawling? Allah does subhanahu wa ta'ala jalla jalala. He knows everything and hears everything. But putting a companion so subtle to that extent, so what's the solution? The companions were afraid, so what do we do? So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught them a supplication. I cannot elaborate on that, but look into it. There is a special supplication. Oh Allah, I ask your refuge against any putting a companion with you, and forgive me for doing so without knowing so. It's a beautiful supplication. Say 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the evening. And Allah will make all your work sincere for Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala, because everything's in His hands. Even these obediences and disobediences, it's in everything. Everything's in His hands. So it starts with supplicating, oh Allah, give me a righteous heart. Oh Allah, I ask your refuge against all these disobediences of the heart. The third one, dear brothers and sisters, the bad envy. hasad. If you see someone having a nice car, you should not have that feeling. Why does he have that car? I should be entitled to that car. I should be entitled to that promotion. I should be entitled to that bonus. I should be. Allah Azza wa Jal has already distributed the things that will sustain you, al-arzaq. It's already been divided, and that's it. So don't worry. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says that if you run away from wealth or whatever Allah Azza wa Jal is going to sustain you from rizq, if you run away, it will catch you and it will get you just like death gets you. So don't worry about that. Take by the reasons. Don't sit home and do nothing. Take by the reasons, and Allah Azza wa Jal will make it happen. The bad envy, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and it is so dangerous that he had mentioned that bad envy eats away your good deeds just like fire eats wood. It eats it away. It doesn't just eat your good deeds and make it void. It eats you up. It eats you up from inside. دع الخلق الخالق. Leave the creation to the creator. Al-Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah, leader of the followers who came after the companions, Ridwanullah alayhim, had mentioned, I know now that my sustainability, rizq, is in Allah's hands. It's not in anyone's hands. So now my heart is at peace. And I know also now that work, nobody will do work on my behalf. And first he said, no one will take my rizq away from me. It's in Allah's hands. So I was at peace. And no one is going to do my work for me. So I put in the effort to do the work. No one is going to pray on your behalf. No one is going to fast on your behalf. But rizq, take by the reason, and Allah will bring it to you. It will come and stick to you. Another disobedience of the heart is thinking that Allah will not do the right thing for you. إساءة الظن بالله عز وجل. Thinking that the end result is not positive. No. You should always think that Allah Azza wa Jal will only do good for you. Even the hardship that you go through, that's for your own goodness. Allah purifies you when you're in hardship. You should always think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does only what's good for you. أنا عند ظن عبدي بي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the holy hadith that I am as however my slave perceives me. So if you perceive Allah in a good way, good things will happen. If you perceive Allah in a bad way, bad things will happen. Nowadays, science and whatnot, they talk about this. Not from a religious perspective, but from a scientific, psychological, medical perspective. They say that however you perceive things, things will happen. That's the difference between being optimistic and a positive person and being pessimistic and a negative person. Once upon a time, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ went to visit one of the companions who was sick and with a high fever. So the Prophet was trying to calm him down and give him the good news, telling him that this fever is purifying you. This sickness is elevating you, inshallah, and purifying you. What do you know what the companion man replied? he says, the only thing I see about this sickness, this fever, is that it will take me to the grave. This is how he perceived it, negatively. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says to him, then it is how you perceived it. You perceived it that way, then it's how you perceived it. And this companion ended up dying because of that fever. The scholars say if he had perceived it otherwise, Allah Azza wa Jal would have saved him. It's how you perceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always know that Allah will only do what's good for you. Even if it may seem right now a bit hard, no, the end result is good. Just be patient. One last disobedience of the heart is al-kibr, being snobbish, thinking that you are better than anyone, thinking that you are above everyone. And that is a great disobedience as well of the heart. That's what took Iblis, the devil, that's what took him from paradise, out of paradise and out of Allah's mercy. And that's why Allah damned him, because he disobeyed Allah. I'm better than Adam. Why should I prostrate to him in terms of honor? I will not. I'm made from fire. I'm much stronger than him. He's made from mud and clay. And so it was that feeling. I end it with this hadith. A companion came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He had feared that he had this kind of feeling, that I am better than people, a snobbish kind of a feeling. So he says, "Oh Prophet, I wear the best clothes and nice clothes. Is this kibr? Is this what Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't want in terms of looking down at people?" So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, "Inna Allah jameel yuhibb al-jamal." Allah Azza wa Jalla is beautiful and He likes beauty. Wear what's nice, no problem. Nice clothes, nice cologne, nice car, no problem. But don't let dunya become in your heart. It's no problem if it's in your hands or in your pocket. So if it goes away, it doesn't hurt your heart. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ then explains to him what kibr is. He says, kibr, which is this disobedience of the heart, is turning away al-haq, turning away the right thing and not accepting it. And it is also looking down at people, thinking that you are better than anyone. No. You should always look down upon yourself, even if people regard you highly, because this way you will be able to be humble all the time. This is what Allah Azza wa Jal wants. Man tawada'a lillah rafa'ah. He who brings himself or herself down for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah shall raise them in this life and in the life hereafter. هذا والله أعلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Thank you very much.
كريم كريم